This week we saw the first ever game for the Texas Tailgaters, the return of the Firefighters, and some incredible moments in both games. And to top it all off, we saw what could possibly be the best showdown in history, and there were 2 in a row for both Tailgaters games. Welcome to the Banana Breakdown Podcast. Whether it's player interviews, weekly breakdowns of the games, or post-game live streams, we love to talk about all things Banana Ball.
How about that intro, man?
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I really like that one, and I love the song. Just to give a quick shout out to Michael Barrow and the Tourists for letting us use that song. They're a great band. That song's called Over It, so you'll want to stream it.
Yeah, and we'll put that in the description of all the podcasts. You can find it if you ever want to. It's a great song. But let's jump into the showdowns of the Tailgaters. So for those who may not know, if it goes to tied after the 9th inning, they go to showdowns. And it's just a really cool way that they end the game. It's really fast-paced, and it's really intense.
Yeah, best overtime in sports.
Yes, and it doesn't happen very often. We haven't seen one in a while. And both Texas Tailgaters versus Party Animals games this weekend had a showdown. And they both ended in really unconventional ways.
Yeah, it was, the Tailgaters decided to come in and say, this was the Party Animals headlining tour. They were finally the home team. It was going to be their big moment. And the Tailgaters, it's their first game ever as a franchise. And they come in and say, you know what, we can compete with you guys. And so they took them to showdowns in the first game, lost in a heartbreaking fashion. I love to see that. But they lost the first game, ended up winning in the second game. We're going to break it all down.
Yeah, so let's jump into that first game. It was a really cool way that it ended. So we're going to jump to the 8th inning to get you started. So in the 8th inning, the Party Animals were up 3-1. And this was a really cool moment. So Drew Gillespie was on the mound, and we all know he is arguably the best closer and best pitcher in Banana Ball right now.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Tailgaters were in a little bit of trouble when he came on the mound. But Mac Danford hit a 3-run home run over 400 feet straight to center field to win the inning for the Tailgaters, making the score 3-2.
Yeah, first ever home run in Tailgater history, and it could not have come at a better time for them. It really put them in good position to send the game to showdowns.
And then in the 8th inning, in the bottom of the 8th inning, they put Brett Carson on the mound. Now, this is Brett Carson's first ever Banana Ball game.
Where he was playing before this, he was not pitching. And I don't know what his coaches were thinking, because this guy is an insane closer. It seemed like he had been there so many times. He looked so confident, and you compare that with Drew Gillespie's performance, which again was awesome.
Yeah.
He had a great performance too, and he's always great. It looked like these two guys are the best pitchers in the league.
100%.
Brett Carson goes up, and it's like he just knew. He just commanded the mound, and he put on a show to close out the game.
Yeah, so in the 8th inning, he 3 up, 3 down, 2 of them were strikeouts. Then we go to the 9th inning. The Texas Tailgaters score 1, tying it 3-3. And then when the Party Animals are up, Brett Carson is pitching once again, and he gets another 2 strikeouts, closes them out. 4 strikeouts in just 2 innings of play, and that sends it to showdown. So right there, Brett Carson already put himself right up on a pedestal next to some really good Banana Ball pitchers.
Yeah, it was insane. He even did a backflip.
That was awesome. It was a ball,
yeah.
So you're not going to see it on social media anywhere, but it was actually really cool because the catcher did a backflip at the same time,
yeah.
And then he threw it. So once we get a good strikeout, that's going to go super viral.
Yeah, so it was just epic. He just came out, ice in his veins, sent it to showdowns, and then it didn't stop there. He was still out there for the entirety of showdowns. It was an amazing performance.
Yeah, so we get to round 1 of showdowns, and Sammy, start us off with how Drew Gillespie did the first showdown.
Drew Gillespie goes up. He's been there before. We all know how good Drew Gillespie is. If you don't, you need to look it up. You need to watch the previous games. He has won plenty of showdowns for the Party Animals. So he gets up there and he strikes out Castillo of the Tailgaters, and it just seems like, okay, it's just going to be normal. The Party Animals are going to go in and they're going to win in round 1 of the showdowns. Yeah,
and to add in the piece with the showdowns, there is one fielder. There's no one else out in the outfield. So what happens is now Brett Carson has a ton of pressure on his shoulders. He has one fielder to back him up. most any hit to the outfield will be a guaranteed win for the Party Animals. So he comes up there and he gets the batter to dribble a little grounder in the infield, which is huge. So he's able to then get that runner out and send it to round 2 of Showdowns. Again, Brett Carson, this is his first time pitching in a real game in years, and he was able to pull off this performance.
We go to round 2, and this one there's no fielder, right? And so it's just the pitcher. He's on an island. Drew Gillespie ends up giving up a hit, and he has to run all the way back. Doesn't get there in time. Same thing happens with Brett Carson, and we go to round 3 of Showdowns.
Yeah, and this is one of the really cool things about Showdowns is the fact that at least for most of the time, the pitcher and the fielders will stay the same. And so these guys are running, and then they come back, they get about a couple minute break while the other one's pitching, and then they're right back on the mound. And that's going to come into play a little bit later. But now we go to round 3 because it is still tied.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really crazy.
Really, really crazy. So round 3, just to give background, this is where the bases are loaded now. So the fielder is back, so it's pitcher, fielder, catcher, but now it's a batter and all the bases are loaded. Drew Gillespie pitches and they hit it straight to Chase Acuff. Again, one fielder. Chase Acuff is the only fielder for the Party Animals in the field. It goes straight to him. If they would have hit it anywhere else, then at least one run scores.
Yep.
But it goes straight to him. He throws it home, and it's a force out at home, and they don't give up a run. Crazy.
Absolutely crazy. So yeah, when you have the bases loaded, there's no one in the outfield. The fielder has to be in the infield grass. So anything hit just past that, the guy on third is scoring. The guy on second's probably scoring. It's really tough to keep them to not score in the third round. And the other piece right there is the fact that, just a little bit of background that we learned this weekend, is I noticed while they were on the bases, they weren't allowed to lead off. All of the players were on the base, which makes sense because there's no one to pick off. But that's where that helped Chase Acuff here, because he was able to get the ball and throw it home.
Yeah, he had no time to run home.
Yeah. And so, but that play was mind-blowing, because you get a hit and everyone's excited, and then they're like, oh no, he has it.
Yeah.
And it stopped.
Crazy. So the Party Animals were able to get out of the top of that showdown completely fine. No runs scored. So then Brett Carson goes up, and this is where he proves that he is the real deal. Drake Toll said that we found a star, and I totally agree.
Yeah, and this one absolutely blew my mind, because there's so many mental games that go back and forth between the batter and the pitcher of, I'm going to guess what he's going to throw, this and that totally came into play here. So Noah Fisher was batting for the Party Animals, and he and Brett Carson are going back and forth, battling, until we get to a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes, meaning with the bases loaded, if they throw a ball here, the game's over.
Yep.
Because they guarantee that they're going to score. If he throws a strike here, it's going to be really easy for the batter to hit it, because he's anticipating it to come into the strike zone, because he obviously knows that the pitcher doesn't want to walk him. So he throws it, and Noah Fisher takes a mighty swing, foul. It was right down the middle, and he was waiting for it. So he's expecting it to happen again. And this is where Brett Carson blew my mind. He throws this nasty pitch that curves super out of the zone, and Noah Fisher, rightfully so, goes swinging for it, expecting it to be right over the plate. And he strikes him out with the bases loaded and only one fielder in his first banana ball game.
We were shocked. Absolutely shocked. We were going crazy. I still can't believe what we saw. And then it actually gets crazier.
Yes.
So we go to round 4, and I was shocked by this coaching decision. But Mike Vivacis, the head coach of the Party Animals, pulls Drew Gillespie. And
let me take you into that moment.
Yeah.
Sammy and I are watching, and we both, at the same time, audibly shout, "What?" when they announced that Drew Gillespie was pulled. We were shocked.
Yeah, I was shocked. we did a live stream afterwards. Someone brought up maybe it was because Drew Gillespie was winded from the run. But keep in mind, Brett Carson also had to run.
Yeah.
And he stayed on. Anyway, I ate my words because I was typing in the live stream. I was like, how do you pull Drew Gillespie there? But again, and I owned up to it right away. But I said, this is why we are podcasters and not coaches. Because I was wrong. Brady Keiss goes in for Drew Gillespie. Again, Brady Keiss is a great pitcher.
Yeah.
But Drew Gillespie has been in this moment way more, and it just seemed like it would be better to keep him out there. But Brady Keiss goes out, and he gets a strikeout.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything, I guess. I don't know why you guys listen to me. That's why I don't get paid to coach. I can't make those decisions, I guess. So that was definitely the right decision. And then
it gets even crazier.
It's crazier.
So again, this round, after round 3, it just repeats over and over again with one fielder and the bases loaded. So Brett Carson comes up to the mound, bases loaded, and Bryson Bloomer is batting for the Party Animals. And once again, back and forth until we get to a full count, 3-2. Then Brett Carson throws it right over the plate to try to get a strikeout swinging, and Bryson Bloomer tanks it out of the park. Grand slam.
First ever grand slam in banana ball history, period. And it was to win the game in showdowns.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. It could not have been better. Brett Carson had such a great game. I feel so bad for him that it had to end in that way. But we all know that he's going to be a star. But Bryson Bloomer to win the game in that way is just amazing.
Yeah, super great thing for Bryson Bloomer, and the Party Animals just flooded the field. When he hit it, it was a no-doubter that it was out of the park. But even then, all it had to do was just stay fair and the person from third to score. So it would have been over anyways, but the fact that he hit it out of the park, grand slam, was amazing.
It was perfect. And we want to show here really quick what Drake told. He came onto our live stream right after, and we want to show here really quick what he said about that moment.
Yeah, so here's that quick 3 to 5 minute clip. Drake,
Good.
What is going on in your head right now with that closing right there?
I kid you not. You're the first person to hear this. I haven't told anybody yet. My throat's bleeding. I can taste the blood in the back of my throat just because you're like, I feel like that Georgia Tech football game, 8 when they went to 8 overtimes, right? And you're just like back and forth. I was like, how much more of this do I have in me? Like, I'm about to pass out here. And then, I mentioned just a second ago to our marketing crew, if Bloomer hits a single right there, right, it's still a classic. What a game, 5-4, tailgate for Gritty. Instead, he breaks history. He's the first grand slam in banana ball history. It's a walk-off grand slam, and not just in the 9th. It's a walk-off grand slam in showdowns, the second home run in showdowns history. Didn't see it a single time last year. Full body chills still. I don't know when I'll come down from that. I said it on the broadcast. Say it again. I need a beer. I just need one singular beer trying to get me back into having real normal human thoughts.
My goodness, that was insane. And you said it at the end of the broadcast there that you can't script that. That was just insane. Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, man, so much credit to Brett Carson. I probably said it 10 times, but I cannot emphasize enough. We just found a star. We just found a dude. We found a bunch of stars like Castillo, Nick Lopez, Brett Carson, Munoz, Mac Danford with a ball against Gillespie. I don't think anybody's ever hit a ball that far against Drew Gillespie. I've seen like that kind of pump from dudes that have never played banana ball before. Like those are names that we're not very familiar with or who haven't played the sport at all, and they stepped up tonight. Even where Zach Watson, Jordan Hussein, Taj Porter, Indy Stanley weren't 3 for 4. They weren't 4 for 5. It was guys who are new. My hat goes off to Brett Carson because he deserved to win. Honestly, the Tailgaters as a team deserved to win, and so did the Party Animals. You had to find a loser somewhere down the stretch right there.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. Like, we were looking at each other like, okay, 9th inning, it's tied. We might have a chance for showdowns. Then it goes to showdowns, and it's like, okay, they could pull it off right here, round 1. And it just kept going. I'm absolutely blown away by Brett Carson's performance. That was crazy.
Oh,
seriously.
I still haven't had the beer yet. I still haven't yet. Nobody's brought me one. I'm just waiting. I'm hoping a listener out there is like, yeah, we're gonna, yeah. Brett Carson deserves the world after that. Man, guys, I can't. I was thinking, there like the last couple rounds showdowns. Like, man, can't wait to hop on with those guys. Classic game. And then when he launched that ball off the bat, my first thought was, shoot, the banana breakdown is gonna be a crazy one. We're gonna have a banana ball breakdown for the 8. So I can't wait to listen back to what you guys said to start the show and how to say the rest of the show. But, man, I had like 5 minutes right here. I wanted to hop on and just let you guys know that we are all, as an organization, big fans of your work. We watch a ton of the stuff that you do and love that people consider banana ball as a legitimate sport that they can follow, keep up with statistically. I speak on behalf of Josh Zalewski. Social media pages. Like we follow you guys. We're super appreciative of people who treat the sport with its due diligence as a sport. And so more than happy after a game like that to give you guys a little hello and keep doing what you're doing. Party on.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
We
Drake. That
really
was
appreciate
awesome.
it.
Thank you. We appreciate
No
all
doubt.
you
We'll
do.
smell you guys.
So that was the clip from the live stream where we had Drake Toll on. It was absolutely incredible to have him on there. Thank you, Drake, for joining us there. And it was so fun to just talk about the game live. It was really cool because we had planned this a while in advance, knowing that it was the first Tailgaters game. But the fact that it ended up being this crazy showdown game we were able to talk with you live after was so cool.
Yeah, it was perfect. Banana ball can't be scripted, but if you were to script it, it would have been that.
Yes. And then also really quick, we had the incredible opportunity to get a quick interview with Brett Carson. We were able to talk to him for a few minutes about this moment with it being his first ever banana ball game. We wanted to give you an insight into how that experience was for him. So here's that clip of us interviewing Brett Carson. So Brett, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. You had an absolutely insane game Saturday night. Can you take us a little bit into that moment of some of what was going on the pitcher's mound?
Yeah, well, the first thanks for having me on again. But yeah, I mean, like, it was just the start of the day. I mean, just a whole, I guess even just this whole prime season that we've had, spring training just leading up to it. I mean, just eager, even all off season for that matter. And then when we got to our spring training, it was like, all right, like, this is real. And then it kind of like got to the point where even like probably halfway through spring training, like you're already into the adjustment. And then it's like you're over that, like the nerves a little bit of just being there, and then it's like, all right, now we're gonna start what we're actually gonna start doing, like the more of entertainment stuff leading up to our first game. It literally it flew by. It literally felt like a day. It really did. And then it was like next thing you know, you blink and we're getting off the bus to get ready to play our first game. But even just the whole day though, I mean, I was honestly nervous when I first walked through the doors, and I don't know why. Like I've been blessed and fortunate enough that I've played pro ball the last year and a half. And it was like, it wasn't, I guess it really wasn't nerves. It was more anxious. It was just like, it was finally here. I was really excited. And then honestly, right when we got there, we pretty much started our rehearsal. And like, after we did the rehearsal, like it felt like everything just went so much easier. Cause after the rehearsals, we got to meet with fans, and then like, just talking with the fans and stuff, very excited about us, and even though we're this new team and they know nothing about, like it was so fun. But from a personal side, it was also nice to have my mom and my girlfriend there to help support me. My dad was supposed to be there, but just stuff happened and he wasn't able to be there. But however, having them there was nice though. But yeah, I mean at the plate, I mean everyone knows with banana ball how fast the game could be. So as much as you can, just slow that down. And honestly, I was fine to start the game, and I was thinking that as soon as I stepped in the box and I put the bat on my shoulder, that I was gonna be all right, like get that anxiousness again. But honestly, as soon as I stepped in, it was like I literally felt like I've been doing this since I was little. You know what I mean? It was very, and it was. I think it was the first time I stepped in the box of a season that I felt that way, which was really good. I mean, didn't even get a hit the first at bat, but I flew out, and honestly, it was like I didn't chase any pitches out of the zone, and that's my big thing. My approach: don't swing any pitches out of the zone, and swing at pitches that that like are part of my approach. And I did that, and it happened to fly out, and I was like, that's a win. Like even though it's not a hit, I'm like, that's a win. Like first at bat, and then later on, it helped me. I think my next at bat was like when I was able to get a hit, my first hit out of the way, and then that also just helped the game slow completely down as well. And then yeah, on the mound, it was just I like coming in relief because it's literally like I don't really feel that pressure at the end of the game. I try not to, at least. But like it's like the whole game of banana ball is already taxing of its own. So I like coming into relief because one, I'm already loose, and two, whatever energy I have left in the tank, let it go. You know what I mean? Just let it eat for those last two or so innings, and then if everyone knows that it does watch the game, it was a little more than 2 innings. They had win in the 4 showdowns, which was a little insane and crazy.
Yeah, so how was playing in your first ever showdowns? How was that experience there, and what were you thinking when you're on the mound?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely different. And to be honest, though, at the same time, in the moment on the mound, I tried not to let it to think about it too much. But like I do remember coming off the mound after the ninth inning and being pumped up, like heck yeah, we're going to showdowns, and then sitting down and like I mean, I've watched the Bananas and Party Animals play, and they went into multiple showdowns already coming into this past weekend. So like I already obviously heard an idea of what it was and like how to prepare for it, I guess in a way. But also like when I was going out to the mound and I looked behind me and Jordan Hussein's behind me, and it was like, wow, this field is huge. Like you know what I mean? Like so like it was also like I also try when I'm at the baseball field. I also firm believer in this is like if you tell yourself don't do something. Like if I was like, hey, don't give up a hit here, like you're gonna give up a hit. Like, you know what I mean? Or like, hey, I'm not going to swing at balls out of the zone. You're going to swing at balls out of the zone. So try to think positive thoughts. I do remember when I first got there, I was like, wow, like it's crazy no fielders are out here. And I was like, well, it's on me. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna get this guy out. And then I really don't think that it settled in until the third showdown when the bases were loaded. I think that was the crazy one because we had that Andy Stanley had that hard hit ball up the middle that yeah, but hey, we had to go. I can't remember the name. Made a good play on, got us out. We didn't score, so I knew I had to come up big there because I mean, obviously a base hit scores in general, and like we don't have to sprint after that because the runner on third scores. But that was the biggest. It was just is it completely different than anything I've ever experienced.
Yeah, that was crazy, and the third round was the one that was the most shocking and crazy for us. That crazy play by Chase Acuff to then put the pressure on you on the mound. But then that third round against Noah Fisher, you guys had that battle, got to a 3-2 count, and then you had two pitches. You threw it straight down the middle, and then you threw it outside the zone. What was your thought process in that, knowing that a ball means game over?
Yeah, I wasn't trying to think that. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't think throw a ball. You know what I mean? Or like not throw a ball because then you're gonna throw a ball.
Yeah.
Honestly, here's the other funny thing is me and Taylor Justice was the one catching me, and he's caught me all prime season just the way it was laid out. Because when we were scrimmaging or had the exhibition games against the Firefighters, it just so happened that I was always tail end because it always helped with me playing the field. Because it was also I was gonna be a potential starter, but we had other guys that were kind of leading in that starter role, and then it kind of just fell into my lap that it was easier for me to be in the field when I'm already loose and then come in the pitch and whatnot. So we've also like it tremendously better. Like I remember the first exhibition game, like I was shaking a lot, and like we got to the point where we had more conversations of like, hey, this is what I feel comfortable with and whatnot. And he's also a very good catcher as well, that he knows what's working. And so and again, like I haven't thrown to him in 2 weeks now. And also, I guess I answered the question, which is also funny with me being loose from being at first, and also the bullpen was in the left field line. I played through 7 innings. Like I didn't touch the mound until I went out to the game. So, but also like some of the guys crack on me a little bit because even in prime season, like my thing is I'm already loose from playing the game already and playing the field. So I would go down in prime season to the bullpen and throw 5-6 pitches just to feel the slope of the mound and go back in and chill. Because my biggest thing is like this is the game. Like I can't be down here like whatever I have in the bullpen is probably what I'm gonna have in the game. So like don't think about it. Like it's already my stuff. So like just honestly like roll with the punches and figure it out when you're out there. Just kind of like you know what I mean. But so I didn't have time because I hit in the seventh or top of the eighth. Sorry, I'm so used to. We haven't played a home game, but we were in the top of the eighth when I hit. So I hit and came back in, and then just went right down in front of the fans on the third baseline and just threw to our bullpen catcher, which I didn't even have him get down. I just spun a couple breakers, and he even looked at me and he was like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You want me down?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. Let's go back in and chill." Because honestly, my thing was like I didn't want to throw until the third out and then run all the way back in and then already have my heart pumping. Just go in and chill and like again, I'm already loose. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. But that 3-2 pitch. I mean, a couple of guys that were watching it from after the Bananas Firefighters game, they were like, that took a lot throwing a 3-2 slider there. And honestly, like in the moment and even after, like I don't even remember that it was 3-2. I honest, but because, and if you would go back and watch, like Justice and I, like I feel like we had such a great connection, especially on Saturday's game, that I didn't shake at all. And also I like working quick because I like as a hitter, no, we got to be quick in banana ball in general. But as a hitter, the quicker I can be, the more uncomfortable the hitter can be as well. So like I don't really like to sit there and shake and shake and shake. I think we threw the couple breakers, the 12-6 over the top that I didn't land for a strike. And then we threw the fastball, but he was really out in front of the fastball. So in my head was thinking we got to go slider here. And then as soon as I looked up and he flashed a 3, I was like, heck yeah! Like I already had it pre-gripped and everything. And honestly, if he probably would have caught a fastball, I don't even know if I would have shook because I was moving so quick, and not that I didn't know what I was doing moving quick, but like just because I don't, it kind of throws me out of my rhythm. And I think if I would have been like no, and I'm like, okay, I got to throw this here, and it was just like I was like he barreled it down the line really foul. I'm like, we got to go slow. Like he's so far out in front of the fastball, and it just worked out, and it just kind of just got it in there. And I mean, I think what was even special about that was just, I mean, obviously just in the moment, and then the whole team rushing me afterwards was awesome and incredible.
Yeah. No, we absolutely loved it, and just even hearing Drake Toll, like I think most of the fans feel the same way we did. Like you just came out of nowhere, and we're just like, hey, we've got another star pitcher here. We're so excited you're here in Banana Ball.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's something that he talked to us about. He came onto our live stream afterwards, and he just said, we found a star here, and I think that's what everyone agrees. You just really went out there and stole the show.
I appreciate that. Well, the other funny thing is they did mention it, but so we didn't really get a lot of time with a lot of the party animals. So even like leading up to the game, like a lot of them, like we didn't really. A couple of the guys, but like me personally, like I didn't really get to have even conversations with a lot of them, even like right before the game, and then after the game, a lot of them were like coming up and having a conversation with me and talking with me. And I think Fluke was the one. He came up and he was like, "When's the last time you thrown that many pitches?" And I was like, honestly, I think probably my first pro ball start, which was in 23, because I only threw 2 innings last year in pro ball. Like that's the only time I pitched. I played the field the whole year, and like I've always worked on pitching in the off season. Like obviously mainly hitting outfield, and I've kind of that's and again kind of like what I do and on when I would go get loose before a game. I'm like, I'm already loose. I'm already throwing to be in the outfield and stuff. Like, not that think I need to do extra, but like, I mean, after catch play, like before the games, whoever I'm playing catch with, I'll throw a couple breakers, throw a couple change ups. Like, don't think about it too much. And I think that's also what makes it so good for me, because also like I just get up there, I'm just like, just be an athlete, just throw it. Like, you know what I mean? And I kind of attribute it to like why some pitchers are really good at hitting BP, because they just jump in and grab a bat and they don't think, they just swing. Sometimes some pitchers can just hit the ball as hard as they can, and it's like what the heck? And they're not thinking anything. But then those same pitchers can also get in their head on the mound just as much as the hitters can in the box. So that's kind of which is also funny that I just didn't get a lot of innings last year as much as I thought I was. Just happened to be just in the outfield and in the lineup every single day, which obviously can't complain too much about.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I guess here's our last question here for you. So this being your first game in Banana Ball, what was your favorite moment?
Favorite moment? I definitely have to say the plaza party at the end has to be the best moment, because obviously everyone knows how the game ends. How the game ended. Obviously the walk off, especially grand slam to Bloomer, which awesome. It was him, like awesome, and it was like that was even a good battle. You know what I mean? It was awesome, and I struck him out the at bat in I want to say the ninth. So, and then he got up again. So I guess I think we're 1-1, but I think he kind of also has a little bit of an extra edge. However, I think the best part about that was like, not only like after the game, like teammates are coming out and like giving me hugs and whatnot, like, hey, like that was heck of an effort. Like, it's not on you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously as a competitor, because I think what people on the outside don't understand is like between the lines, the game really matters to us. Like, we're not out there like just putting on a show. We're putting on a show, and also like, I mean, there's sometimes there might be a couple of chirps back and forth, but also like we're all friends at the end of the day. Yes, but like between the lines, and I think even like Drew Gillespie is honestly a good, like, people see him like they think he's this bad guy character or whatever because he's talking a lot on when he's pitching and whatnot. But like even I had a conversation with him right after the game ended, and it was the first conversation I had, and like one of the nicest guys I've ever met. You know what I mean? And it's like completely flipped. But it's just like once we're all grown men that once it's between the lines, we're just in compete mode. But sorry to answer the question though. Obviously the game didn't end the way I would want it. I would like to have won and whatnot. But going to the plaza party and like even fans coming up to me that like and them saying, hey, like obviously it's the first time they've even known of me. And like them coming up and being like, hey, like we're huge fans now. Or not even that, but just seeing all the little kids and like they don't even care who won, who lost. Like and that's just also that just makes what we're doing very special in my opinion. And that also just made it like more of just helped me realize just more like what the overall goal of this whole thing is. So and just like there and again and then my mom and girlfriend were out there and just seeing them have fun too and it's like again that's what this whole thing's about. You know what I mean? Like we put on a good show and everyone is excited, everyone's jumping around, like everyone's having a good time. So I think that was definitely the best moment from Saturday.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We look forward to talking a little bit more in the future and diving a little bit deeper into your background of baseball and all of that. But good luck out there in the next few games with the Tailgaters.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me on. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett. That was awesome. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and give us a little insight of how that experience was.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing Brett in the near future as well as the rest of the Tailgaters. They've got a bright future ahead. So now let's jump into Game 2 of the Texas Tailgaters, which also went to Showdown, and then we'll get a little bit into the Firefighters after that. So Game 2 was an absolutely crazy game from what we've heard. There was actually a little debacle where we weren't watching it live and it actually got taken down afterwards. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what was going on with all of that. But we were able to see the last inning or the end of the ninth inning and the showdowns. So we're able to talk a little bit about that as well as some like quick social media posts that told us a little bit about what happened in the game.
Yeah, from what we can see, it was also an insane game. Again, the Tailgaters came in and were like, you guys think you're headlining this? We're actually the ones people come to see. It was a lot of fun. It was a cool thing to see the Tailgaters just come out and say, you know, we belong in this league. We may be a lot of rookies here that have never played banana ball before. There's a lot of returning people as well, but they came out and said, we belong here, and it was really awesome. I was a little bummed that the Party Animals couldn't beat them both times, but man, who knows? Maybe the Party Animals are the best team in the league, Tailgaters are number 2, and then it's the Bananas.
That's kind of how it seems at this moment, but
yeah.
We'll see in the future. So this game was really crazy from what we've heard. So Zach Watson had 2 home runs in this game, and so rightfully so, he was chosen to be the first batter in the showdowns. But also wanted to call out Indy Stanley. Had a home run in the 9th inning to take the lead up 5-3, and then the Party Animals, we believe it was Jake Skoll, was able to tie it up. So it was 5-5 after 9 innings, and we're going to showdown.
So we're going to showdowns. Zach Watson is up the bat, and he gets a hit, and he's able to run the bases and score.
So now the Tailgaters are up 6-5, and the Party Animals are up to bat.
And this is what's crazy. I brought this up a few podcasts ago. It was my hot take. And as a Party Animal fan, I feel like I need to bring it up again. Because this one, it hurts a little bit. I said, and a lot of people, Brandon mainly, told me that it was a dumb take. I said that the fan caught foul ball rule, where if a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out. I said that should not count in the 9th inning or in showdowns. But this was a really incredible moment. It sucked as a Party Animals fan to see this. Okay, so here it is. So the Party Animals go up to bat and they hit a foul ball, and it's close. It looks like it could go out. It could be a home run, but it goes just foul. And a fan is right there and makes a perfect catch. He's probably like a teenager, teenage age. He makes a perfect catch, and he wins the game. That's an out. the Tailgaters had scored at the top of this showdown, and the Party Animals are out on a fan-caught foul ball. And so the Tailgaters, of course, go crazy. They bring the kid onto the field. It was an awesome moment for that kid. He'll never forget that. It's so great. But, oh, man, what a terrible, absolutely terrible way to lose for the Party Animals.
Yeah, and one of the funny things from the video, Drake Toll is commenting on it, and he says, "Give that kid a lifetime contract to Banana Ball."
Seriously, he's a legend. He gave the Tailgaters their first ever win in franchise history.
That's crazy, and the crazy thing is that he theoretically could play in Banana Ball in a couple years.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if he plays baseball.
Can you
or not,
imagine
but
that someday?
Yeah.
He does now.
Yeah, now he does. He won a game, so that's just crazy. Who knows? Who knows what the future is for that kid? But whatever he does in life, he'll always know that he won the game for the Texas Tailgaters, and he's probably going to be a Tailgaters fan for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and so that was just really cool. The Texas Tailgaters coming out their first 2 games, able to be really close in the first one and take home the second one against the best team in the league right now. And the showdowns were just so incredibly different and really, really fun to watch.
Thanks for saying that the Party Animals are the best team in the league.
I mean, the stats don't lie.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so now let's jump over to the Bananas versus the Firefighters. So this was a 2-game series, and it was at the Kansas City Royals home stadium for the MLB Kauffman Stadium. So this was a bigger stadium than the Party Animals Tailgaters, and it was around 37,000 fans. So a really fun environment for them to play in. And something interesting that we talked about on the live stream is it felt like the Firefighters might have had a little bit of jitters in that environment, playing against the Bananas, playing in front of all those fans, and also just playing their first Banana Ball game for some of them, and the ones that were returning, they only played like 15 to 20 games last year.
Yeah.
So they're nowhere near as seasoned in Banana Ball as the Savannah Bananas. But I will say the second game, leaps and bounds of improvement in that aspect, which further confirms that I think it was first game jitters.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job in both games, but the second game, they really came out with some of the trick plays, with some of the really good batting, really good pitching. So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, and we brought up on that live stream that we went to the first game of the season with the Bananas and the Party Animals in Mesa, and there were those same jitters that we saw in that first game. The Party Animals and Bananas, ever since that game, have looked much more crisp. They were, in that first game, they were missing trick plays that I don't think I've seen them miss since. And so I think it's really it's hard to all of a sudden jump in there and start, especially when the Firefighters are playing the Bananas, who have played a ton of games already. And so that was pretty obvious that there was that difference there. But again, they played a lot better in the second game, and they look good. There's so much talent in this league, but they weren't able to pull off a victory against the Bananas this weekend.
Yeah, which was really good for Bananas fans out there. We really needed something like that after just getting steamrolled by the Party Animals in the last little bit. So it was really good to notch up another 2 wins there for the Bananas. And the Bananas had some people come to join them this week. So we had multiple former Kansas City Royals join the Bananas. Some really cool moments that we were able to see from them. My favorite was Eric Hosmer. He came up to bat, and I'm still not sure how I feel about how his at-bat ended, but basically there's a rule in Banana Ball that if you step out of the box, it's a strike, and with 2 strikes, he stepped out of the box, and
because he was shocked at how nasty this pitch was for the second strike. So Eric Hosmer is a World Series champion for the Kansas City Royals, so the fans there were so excited to see him. There ended up being 4 total between the 2 games, 4 total former Royals players that won the World Series with them that came out and played for the Bananas. But again, they're so excited to see him bat again, and he just gets this nasty pitch, and he's shocked, and he's like, oh wow, but he steps out of the box. And so he was down 0-2, and quickly it was 0-3 because he stepped out of the box. It's a strike, and rules are rules. I don't care if you're a World Series champion. If you're in Banana Land, you play by the rules.
Yeah, and that definitely helped with the next couple guys. They were like their feet were glued in the box.
Yeah.
They were not moving because they had just seen what happened. But it was really cool because after that happened, he was able to then go play first base. He was mic'd up on the broadcast, which was really fun to hear. Hilarious guy and just having the time of his life playing for the Bananas. And then he got to pitch, which was really cool too.
Yeah.
Something that he had never done in the MLB.
Yeah, and when he was mic'd up, he was saying, "Oh, I guess I needed to learn the rules more." He thought it was funny. It was a great time all around. It was cool to see those guys join up with the Bananas and show the world that, yeah, you don't have to, if you're an MLB fan, you don't have to hate what the Savannah Bananas are doing. You can appreciate it. There's two different sports, banana ball and baseball, and both are good in their own ways.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was really cool to see that kind of bridge and seeing how excited they were to be there. But there was also one other person who came and played for the Bananas who actually did more to help the Bananas win than the Royals did. So this was a really cool one. The first time I've seen it in Banana Ball, they had a wounded warrior, Lonnie Gaudette, come and play for the Savannah Bananas. So in the Army, there was an accident and he lost his leg and he had a prosthetic leg. He had played baseball in high school, so he had a little bit of experience, but never played pro. And as part of this, they were able to bring him out on the field, and he gets a hit, and with 2 outs, and then the Bananas score. So if he would have gotten out, that point would have not happened. The Bananas ended up winning by 1 point. So this guy, just like the fan that caught for the Texas Tailgaters, totally affected the game and helped the Bananas win.
Yeah, he was able to win that inning, so they won by 1. He won the game for them. Just amazing. And it was also just shout out to the Bananas for bringing him out there and really celebrating someone like him who is a real hero.
Yeah, and that's really cool that the Bananas are bringing these real heroes out there, and that's one of the things that I've really liked about the Firefighters is it really helps the next generation put firefighters on a pedestal and kind of see what they do, and it's really cool to see that in the next generation.
For sure.
And one of the really cool plays that happened in this game happened from Reese Alexiades, and this was really fun because this was the first game we were watching since interviewing him, which that interview is actually out now, so you can check it out on our YouTube channel or on the podcast platform you're listening to. But he got a grounder in right field, and the runner was going to third, and it was an absolute cannon to third right in front of the base, and the third base was able to catch it, apply the tag, and get him out. And just shout out to Reese for an incredible moment. And it was just, again, really cool to see after having that conversation, getting to know him, and then just being able to see him perform at an incredible level out there.
Yeah, he is an awesome guy. It was really cool to get to know him, and it just makes it an extra special moment when, we've gotten to know him and we see that, and we were just so excited for him. On that same, kind of similar there, we had Jonathan Luters on, and we were so excited because, we interviewed him. You can check that out as well. Great interview. We really got to know him. He's an awesome guy. And he had the first ever trick play for the Tailgaters.
It was super cool to watch.
Yeah.
So the first ever trick play for the Tailgaters from him, and we lost our minds. It was really fun to watch. And it shows what's going to be coming here soon. The Texas Tailgaters and Firefighters are working on some really incredible trick plays. I will shout out one other one that was so close. I believe it was Isaac Parra, if I'm not wrong, on the Firefighters. He pulled off this really, really cool trick play with a lot of intricate parts and just got the ball a little bit too slow to first. So it was really cool to see the effort to try to pull off something new that no one had seen. And then now he's able to learn, okay, I got to go a little bit faster. And that's something that Jonathan Luters talked about on the podcast with us of, hey, you got to make sure that you add as much as you can, but you don't complicate it too much that then it compromises the game. And so that was really cool to see.
So we want to talk about something that was really cool this weekend. This was the first ever doubleheader in Banana Ball history. So the Tailgaters and the Party Animals started play about an hour after the Bananas and the Firefighters started play. And they're in two completely different cities, but this showed the growth and popularity of Banana Ball because both of them were able to sell out their stadiums.
Yeah, and it was really cool to see because now that means that they're having to develop an additional team that can help handle the broadcast, can handle all of those things. And it's also really cool that now we are getting Banana Ball games without the Savannah Bananas. And as a Savannah Bananas fan, that makes me so excited. The growth is there, and I want to shout out a really funny comment that I saw on the Party Animals Tailgaters showdown from the second game. Someone commented and they're like, is this the MLB? Because like maybe they had heard of the Savannah Bananas, but they're like, who are these people? Like, I don't know who these teams are. It looks like baseball. So it's just really funny where we're going to start to get some of those interesting things where people know the Savannah Bananas, but now they're going to have to start like really caring about and learning about the Party Animals as a team with their own right, and then the Texas Tailgaters and the Firefighters and the 2 new teams next year. So really excited for the growth there.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Drake Toll. I know we've already given him a shout out so far this podcast. And it's not just because he came on our live stream. I would say this even if he hadn't. He was awesome on the call for the Party Animals game. And so this was the first time we got to see him. There's been, he's taken over a couple innings this season where he gets up into the booth. But this was his first game this season where he called the entire game. And it was just him. He didn't have a color commentator with him. So he played the role of both the play-by-play guy and the color guy. And he was fantastic. He had some of the best calls that we've heard. Again, that hilarious one at the end of the last game, get this kid a lifetime contract. He had some really awesome moments, and so shout out to him. Banana Ball's in good hands. They are having to get some new people involved to be able to cover 2 games happening at the same time in completely different states.
Yeah.
But it's in good hands. The guys that they have involved are just doing an outstanding job.
Yeah. And something really cool about the rest of this season is we're actually going to see headliner games for the Firefighters and the Tailgaters. So they're going to have to figure out another person to broadcast those games. They're going to have to figure out all of those different things, and it's really cool to start to see the growth there. So there were some Party Animals headliners last year, but they're doing it again this year with more games. The Firefighters, it's going to be their first time, and then obviously Texas Tailgaters in their inaugural season are going to have headliner games. And it was really cool to kind of see the differences where when we were watching the Party Animals Tailgaters game, they didn't have the Bananas. They had other people. I think it was like the Party Starters and some other people around there. And then they also, instead of singing Coldplay's Yellow in the 7th or 8th inning, they played a different song. They played Don't Stop Believin'.
Don't Stop Believin', yeah.
And they do a couple different things there, and it's a totally different vibe as you're watching it with Drake Toll broadcasting versus Biko and Josh on the Bananas, because they bring their unique personalities to it, and it's really cool to watch.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be really fun to see all those things, and also the bases were pink.
Yeah, there were some funny moments where you could tell, like, Party Animals, they're not really like the Savannah Bananas. Drake, there were times when he was broadcasting where he was almost a little aggressive towards the Tailgaters. There was a moment where the ball got hit and a Tailgaters player missed it, and he just goes, "Welcome to Banana Ball, Tailgaters!" Like this is your welcome, your moment where it's like, wow, this is legit. No, that was a funny moment there, and then, but yeah, just a completely different vibe than what Biko and Josh are kind of, they're a little more tame, but that's what we love about Drake. He is a party animal. It's awesome.
Yeah, and so with all of that, we wanted to get into some of the segments we do each week. So getting into the fact of the week, Logan Lacey from the Firefighters had a pretty funny one. It said, loves late night McDonald's runs. So we're going to need a little bit more information about that, but I can just imagine him after a banana ball game signing autographs to the fans and like, hey guys, I got to head out. I got to go to McDonald's.
Probably gets a huge order. I remember the days playing high school sports. I remember this one in particular after a lacrosse game where we went to Carl's Jr. and we bought so much food afterwards, back when I could actually handle that stuff. But anyway. Yeah, and then another fact of the week, Mason Maxwell of the Firefighters, I thought this was hilarious. He said, loves the smell of gasoline, which, again, it's a little concerning if you're a firefighter and you like that instead of, putting out the fires. You like something that starts the fires. But no, we'll allow it. That was a good one.
Yeah, and then from the Bananalytics this week, it's a little bit lighter because we only have their first games and just focusing on the Firefighters and the Texas Tailgaters. The Firefighters actually outperformed the Tailgaters in the trick play department. They had quite a few, and shout out to Stephen Cullen, who got 3 trick plays, and then there were 4 that got 2. Matt Wolf, Noah Bridges, Caden Green, and Logan Lacey. And so it was a really cool performance from them in the trick play department. And then, let's see. And then in the pitching side of things, Austin Temple for the Firefighters had 3 strikeouts, the most strikeouts for the Firefighters this weekend. So that was pretty cool to see as well.
Yeah, great job by the Firefighters. Even though they did lose both their games, they really showed that they belong as well.
Yeah, and then it was on the batting side that the Tailgaters really shined. So we saw 4 home runs this weekend in the 2 games. Again, 2 of those were Zach Watson. Mac Danford had an absolute bomb, and then Indy Stanley as well. And something really crazy when we look on bananaball.com/stats, where you can see all of these official stats from Banana Ball. Zach Watson had 8 RBIs, runs batted in, this weekend, and Mac
crazy.
Danford had 7. They combined had 15 RBIs this weekend.
Yeah, they really turned it on, and it was really impressive.
And to bring that into context, the rest of the Tailgaters had 9 RBIs combined. So these guys really brought the bats.
Those are your hitters right there.
Yeah, and then also on the pitching side, I do want to shout out on the Tailgaters. They had some really great pitchers on the mound. We already talked about Brett Carson. He had 4 strikeouts. But also John Reed, he had 4 strikeouts as well this weekend. And Christian Davis had 3. And Christian Davis, that was in like a 2-inning span as well. So like he was just super hot on the mound.
Yeah, I don't want to have, Brett Carson, we talked a lot about him, and rightfully so, but I don't want that to overshadow. Christian Davis had a great game too. I remember when that was going on, I turned to you and I was like, this guy's an insane pitcher. But then Brett Carson came out and we kind of lost all that. But no, Christian Davis did an amazing job as well, and John Reed too.
Yeah, so just with all of this, it's so exciting. I'm really excited to see all of these different configurations as these teams mash up against each other. And then for a little bit, we're going to see it being the Party Animals against the Tailgaters and the Firefighters against the Bananas. But then we'll get some in there where it's flip-flopping a little bit, and we'll get to see them face off against each other.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting rest of the season. I'm really happy that we finally get to see the Tailgaters and the Firefighters on the field.
Yeah, and so next week, we had a crazy week this week as well, but next week is going to be a really fun week for Banana Breakdown, so we just wanted to call it out so you know what content to look for coming here soon. So this podcast comes out on Wednesday, May 28th, and on the day that it releases is also Savannah Bananas Day at Disneyland. So you're probably going to see a lot of content out there for that, and we're going to be some of those bringing that there. So I'm going to be going to the game, or I'm going to be going to Disneyland on that day and trying to film as much as I can for you guys. And that's actually the majority of that content is going to be on our non-podcast channel. So we have another YouTube channel that is the Banana Breakdown, and we're going to be showing a bunch of that content over there as well as on our other social media pages. But just wanted to call that out. We're so excited to see some of the players there and try to get you guys an inside look as much as we can.
Yeah, and while Brandon is at Disneyland, I am going to be at work. So I'm really excited for that too. No, but we're both of us out at the end of the week. I'll drive to Anaheim and meet up with him there, and we are going to be at the game in person on Saturday.
Absolutely excited for this. This is going to be our first Banana Ball game in an MLB stadium. First time seeing the Firefighters live, and also a shout out to one of the Dad Bod Cheer Squad guys, Anthony, for hooking us up with those tickets. We're so excited to go there, and again, we're going to be filming a lot of content for you guys that we're going to put on the other channel, and then we'll have a really fun podcast for you guys talking about and breaking all that down for you.
Yeah, and then the night before that game, Friday night, we will go live to talk about that and kind of talk about our experience so far in Anaheim, and so you want to party with us then.
Yeah, so we're really excited to see where that goes, and so this weekend there's 2 games for the Firefighters and Bananas. That's in the Anaheim, I guess. That's in the Angels Stadium, MLB Stadium there in Anaheim. And then the Party Animals and Tailgaters are playing 3 games this weekend in Reno, Nevada. So it'll be really cool to see as well.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome week. Anytime you get to watch Banana Ball, it's awesome. But watching it in person, it's going to be even better. And we're going to try to get as much to you guys as possible.
Yeah, so let us know now that you've seen all 4 teams play, which is your favorite, and let us know, and then we can talk about it in the comments below.
Yeah, so go Party Animals.
Go Bananas, Tailgaters, and Firefighters.
Just Party Animals.
Just Party Animals? Okay. Yeah, we'll go with the Party Animals this week.